I'm going to be totally honest with you. The Raptors really confuse me. They have talent, but it doesn't fit perfectly. Also, they've been poverty for the last couple of years, so it's hard for fans outside of Toronto to buy in until it actually happens. Before we get into it, I need to hear your thoughts below. Do the Raptors transform into a playoff team, or is it another tanking year waiting to happen? Comment immediately. Now, last season, they did make strides in one area. Post All-Star break, in 27 games, they were second in defensive rating compared to 26th pre-All-Star break. Clearly, this is a pathway for them to become a relevant team once again. Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl are everything to them on that end of the floor. That duo played 919 minutes together, 111.8 defensive rating. That would be good for a top 8 defense. Scotty Barnes, per Basketball Index, took on the toughest matchups on a nightly basis, guarding multiple positions. Despite that, he still graded A- for perimeter isolation defense. Good to great grades everywhere else involving the perimeter. But he can also protect the rim. A- across the board for rim protection, disruption, deterrent. He really is one of the most complete defenders in the NBA right now. Going on to the big man, he's a great partner in crime. Complements Scotty perfectly because he's always in the right spots. Plays smart, doesn't commit silly fouls. Basketball Index actually graded him A+ for rim protection. 25th out of 569 qualified players to be exact. The bottom line, those two stay healthy. They are playing above 30 minutes a night, and your defense should be fine. The question is, can they figure it out offensively in any way? Because last season was a mess on that end of the floor. Healthy Brandon Ingram and Immanuel Quickley should help, but at this point, you can't really rely on them to stay healthy. The most underrated part that Ingram will bring is his playmaking ability. Last 4 seasons, he has averaged 5.6 assists per game to just 2.9 turnovers. Basketball Index showcases this talent, grading him A+ as a playmaking talent, along with great grades across the board. Very impressive. And also, he will help out a ton because one of the lacking part of the Raptors offense was a go-get-a-bucket guy. Scotty Barnes just had too much on his plate offensively in that aspect. It turns out the Raptors were ranked 26th in the league for isolation scoring. Of course, you want ball movement. It's not really a part of their system to go ISO heavy. Darko wants them to play as a team, but it's obvious they need more tough shot makers when the game slows down. More guys who can command a double team when they're on top of their game. Healthy Brandon Ingram can do that. Basketball Index once again showcases this. A's across the board for one-on-one talent. Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram offensively as a 1A, 1B type of situation has potential more than it did last season, that's for sure. Brandon Ingram also brings a deadly mid-range shot to the table, and the Raptors, that just really wasn't an option for them consistently last season. 39.7% in the mid-range as a team, one of the worst marks in the entire NBA. Brandon Ingram in the 2023-24 season, the last season he really played a full season, he shot 48% in the mid-range. If he maintains that level next season, that alone will improve the Raptors offense and make them much more dynamic as a group. But let me tell you, Immanuel Quickley is so key for everything to work, in my opinion. The problem is, I don't know if he exists anymore because ever since getting to Toronto, every time I tune into their game, he's not on the court, and I feel like I have to enter the dark web to find details about his injury. But in all seriousness, he's key. Why? Well, there's only one ball. Scotty, RJ, and Ingram all are inconsistent shooters. Them fitting in together is questionable offensively, considering they're all at their best on the basketball most times. Most likely, them on the court together, the offense will probably be clunky. However, Quickley, you can make the case he's most lethal feeding off the gravity of others off the ball. He's a career 37.5% three-point shooter on high volume and consistently can create shots for himself and, of course, others. Overall, he can really open up the floor for Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes and just make their life easier because he's going to knock down open three-pointers and also consistently take advantage of the space they create for him. One of my issues with this team is it feels like their best players might not work well together, and I don't think this is a mystery. I think the Raptors understand this considering RJ Barrett has been in trade rumors for the entire offseason. For instance, Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett last season had a negative net rating together as a duo with a disturbing 112.3 offensive rating. That would have been ranked the 22nd worst offense last season. And then adding Brandon Ingram to that mix, I mean, that trio is just probably not going to work, or it's going to be tough to make it work consistently. For it to have a chance, Brandon needs to continue what he started with last season. He was shooting 6 threes per game at 37%. The previous 3 seasons, he was under 4 threes attempted per game and had a season where he shot 32%. If that happens next to Barnes and Barrett with their shooting concerns, the spacing could be a mess offensively. Ultimately, this predicament is why they are so unpredictable, because if Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram have great years shooting-wise, it could transform their offense. Their best two-way unit last season that actually played high minutes together included RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick, Abaji, and Jakob Poeltl. They produced a 127.5 offensive rating and 101.5 defensive rating. Why did that group work well together? I mean, the complementary players like Grady Dick and Abaji are high volume, efficient shooters that the defense consistently respects. Not only is there a concern offensively with this trio, but on Basketball Index, Brandon Ingram has not graded well as a defender recently due to all the injuries piling up on him. RJ Barrett has also not graded as a great defender per Basketball Index. It's not crazy to make the case that the Raptors would be at their best if RJ Barrett accepted a 6-man role. The problem is NBA politics, that's just not how it works. He probably wouldn't. He's 24 years old. He has now averaged 20 points per game in back-to-back seasons, and also he's making improvements playmaking-wise. So it's easy for me to say the Raptors would be at their best with RJ Barrett taking a lesser role, but in real life, I don't think that's really possible. It could affect the team vibe-wise, and you could also say that for Quickley. He's had his best season statistically, efficiently, off the bench with the New York Knicks. So really, the potential of this team comes down to if RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, and Scotty Barnes can figure it out together, because if they can, they're gonna be a really good team. Let me know your thoughts below. What are your thoughts on the Raptors? Leave it all in the comments section. Have yourself a great day and peace out.